Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Bark About It. Today we have with us Nikki Burns, who's with the Northern Spay Neuter Program. Nikki, thank you for being on the show today.
It's such a pleasure to be here, Melanie, and to be able to talk about what I love the most.
Right. So, tell me a little bit about the Northern Spay Neuter Program.
Okay, I've been involved in dog rescue for a couple of years here in Thunder Bay. And about a year and a half ago, I started thinking about the fact that we are bringing in all these dogs from the north, and rescue is wonderful, and I still work in rescue, but that there needs to be a bigger solution to the problem of dogs that are constantly breeding. And I had read an article about a veterinarian from out in Alberta who had traveled up to the western coast of James Bay, I believe it was, and she had done a spay-neuter clinic up there. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's the answer. And so I contacted two other women that I knew who were involved with the feeding program for northern dogs here in Thunder Bay. Okay. And we got together and I said, so what do you think? Is this something that we should be looking at? And they both said, yay, and we went on from there. We started with 3. We are now a total of 8 very high energy, dedicated women on the board of directors for the Northern Spay Neuter Program.
Wow, I know, you guys are just growing. So tell me a little bit about the vets that you work with, because not all of them are local.
No, I didn't realize this when we started, but just because you're a veterinarian doesn't mean the Ontario, I can never remember if it's the Veterinary College of Ontario or the Ontario Veterinary College. I think it's OVC. Yeah, I think it's OVC. That they will grant you the required license to just go and offer mobile remote work in a community. So there's a very specific license. You first of all have to be a veterinarian, you have to have a clinic and be practicing, and then you have to apply for this, I can't remember the official title, but it's a remote mobile license. Once you get that license, then they're basically saying, okay, now you can go into these remote communities. You have to be within, I think, 100 kilometers of any community where there is a vet clinic. You can't be any closer than that. And you can actually offer clinics. So vets can go and work with a vet who has this license, even if they don't. But there has to be at least one vet on the team that has it. No one in Thunder Bay has that license at this point.
Oh, wow.
There are a few that I know of that are interested in applying, and hopefully there will be some vets from Thunder Bay then that will participate. I would mention, though, that we did take 2 vets from Thunder Bay in our very first clinic. We had Dr. Jack Hansen and I just went blank. How can I say that? Oh my goodness! From Northwest Vet.
Yep.
They came to Mishki Gogamang with us, and we had Pauline Van Veen from Barrie, and she holds the required license.
So you go into some of the remote northern communities and service where there's a lack of veterinary care and access,
That's
correct?
exactly it. Mostly what we have done are fly-in communities, although we have now done a couple of drive-in communities. So it's a community that has no vet care.
Right.
So the dogs there, first of all, are not spayed and neutered because there's no one to do that, and they breed indiscriminately. And then what you end up with is multiple dogs that don't really belong to anybody. Because they're just breeding and breeding and breeding. And so we've decided that that's basically where we need to be. But we only go if we are approached by a community.
So how does a community go about reaching out to your program to have a clinic come to their community?
We've done a fair bit of advertising through Facebook, and we're just in the midst of finalizing a website as well.
Great.
And mostly people have heard from us either from word of mouth or through Facebook, and then they will send us an email and say, we're interested in having a clinic, so what's the process? And then it's a fairly not complicated, but long process, because there are many steps that we go through with a community, because it's a partnership.
Yes.
It's not us jumping into a community, fixing the problem, telling them what they need to do, and then zipping out.
So is there follow-up afterwards to ensure that you know, they're taking the right precautions or, you know, really watching their population of dogs?
We try to stay in touch with the communities. If they are interested, we will assist them in the development of bylaws.
Great.
I have templates of various communities and the bylaws that they've instituted. Every community is different, so every community's needs are different, and as a result they may be looking for different kinds of bylaws and so on. So our goal is not just to hop in, do a spay-neuter clinic and never have any communication with this community again. We also like to return to a community at least one more time to see how we can continue the process. But when it comes right down to it, ultimately there is a point where the community has to own the animal management situation and establish their own guidelines for how they're going to maintain that.
So you just received your charitable status.
Yes,
so
we
you're
did.
now a registered charity.
We
Congratulations.
are.
That's
Thank
a long
you.
process.
It was very long.
So tell me a little bit about some of the fundraising initiatives that you're doing.
Okay, I'm wearing a Northern Spay Neuter t-shirt and I have one for you.
These are gorgeous.
This is the white one. And you said you liked white,
I
so
do like white.
I'm giving you the white one.
So let's feature both of these.
Okay, and this is the black one.
So these shirts are on sale.
Yes, they
How
are.
do you go about buying them?
You can go to our Facebook page and contact us that way, Northern Spay Neuter Program. You can email us at northernspay-neuter@gmail.com. and we will get in touch with you.
So how much are they?
They're $25. They're long sleeves. They're a heavy cotton. They're really, really beautiful.
They are beautiful.
And,
I love the white one. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Wear it with pride.
So where do the proceeds go to?
The proceeds go directly into the account that basically funds all of our work. As I said, we do establish a partnership with the community, and we do expect them to contribute some degree of money to a certain amount to the process, but it costs us close to $16,000 to offer a clinic.
For one clinic?
A lot of our vets are coming from Southern Ontario. We have the medication, the supplies, the equipment, transportation, food, and all of those things.
Are you vaccinating as well?
Yes, we
and
are.
Treating certain problems?
Parasite treatment, full examinations, and we tattoo the ears so that we can tell which dogs have been seen.
That is unbelievable.
Yep.
So you need to raise money for each individual clinic.
Yes, and so we do keep a balance of about $15,000, but we're always, looking for more money. And of course, now that we are a charity, I'm hoping that more people will decide to donate and we can offer tax-deductible receipts.
So why encourage people, say from Thunder Bay or the region, to support and come out and support this charity specifically? Tell me a little bit about
why. People have a soft spot in their heart for dogs, a lot of people. And I know a lot of people are concerned about the number of rescue dogs that have come into the community, the number that end up in various foster situations and so on. Rescue is wonderful, but it's not the answer. The answer is to get out into the communities, to help them, to get the veterinary care. And so if you care about dogs and if you care about what happens to dogs, this is one way of assisting communities that really do need your help.
So you're really doing the groundwork.
We're trying.
It's not a Band-Aid solution. You are the only organization in this area doing this work, which is amazing.
We've done 6 clinics since we started in September of 2015.
6 clinics. So tell me a little bit about these communities that you've gone into. How many dogs that we've seen? We have spayed and neutered about 300 dogs. So I would say that we're looking at about 50, 60 dogs roughly per community, some a little more, some a little less. We do both dogs and cats. Some communities have no cats, and some have many. So we've added that. But over 300 dogs, and we have a clinic coming up at the end of March. We're going to be heading west to Big Grassy River and looking forward to our first clinic of 2017 being in that community. Great. So who's going to be a part of that work?
There's another group out of Southern Ontario called the Grey Bruce Aboriginal Kimmick Team. And they do the same kind of work that we do. They're based out of Walkerton, Ontario, and they have done a number of clinics in the Kenora area. Dr. Linda Bolton invited me last February to go and work with her clinic, that team, in Whitefish Bay, and I did. And I loved the team, and I thought, what the heck, let's invite them to see if they want to come and work with the Northern Spay Neuter Program. Our goal is to network with as many groups that do this kind of work as possible. We've also worked with a group called the Global Alliance for Animals and People out of Barrie, and they're an international group, and they've come and worked with us, and we'll come back and work again. And with Dr. Pauline Van Veen, who's also from Barrie, and she's come up and done a number of clinics with us now.
Such a huge network. I mean, you've got people coming up from all over just to help service Northern Ontario.
And the vet techs, some of them are from Ottawa, so some of the vets have come from Guelph, some of them from Ottawa, vet assistants from Sudbury, some from Fort Francis. So we really are trying to reach out to people and say, if this is the kind of work you're interested in doing, then, you know, think about us, because we're looking to grow. We're looking to have more teams willing to go out and do this kind of work, so that we can maybe have more than one clinic happening at a time in different communities. So.
Wonderful work. Tell me a little bit about some of the fundraisers you have coming up, because you have, I've been to the Raise the Wolf Gala last year, so tell me a little bit about that. That's coming up.
Raise the Wolf last fall was the very first one that we held, and it's going to be an annual gala. It's called the Raise the Wolf Gala and Auction. And last year, as you recall, we auctioned off all these absolutely wonderfully decorated dog houses.
They're beautiful.
And they were beautiful. Yeah. We're not sure what we're going to offer for auction this year, but we will have another Raise the Wolf. It will be in September or October.
Okay.
So you can watch for information about that.
I will.
But one of the things that we're looking at right now, probably for sometime this March or April, is something that we're calling Dances with Wolves.
So creative.
And obviously there's going to be a dance component to it.
Yeah.
But we still are finalizing the details. So again, people can look for promotion on that, and they can look for information through our Facebook page. Right now, the biggest thing on the Facebook page is that we're going to be looking for donations to help with our upcoming clinics, because we have not only the one coming up in Big Grassy, but we've had requests from a few other communities. Yeah. And so we're trying to see if we can meet that need.
So how do people get in touch with you? How do people go ahead and get in contact with you?
Okay, first of all, I do have a phone number. The problem is it's a cell phone number, and I just can't remember. Oh, 356. They're probably going to put it on the screen, because I already gave it to them.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll say that.
They can definitely give you a call.
They can give that, yes. They can contact us on Facebook and Northern Spay Neuter Program, or they can email us. And that's Northern Spay Neuter, all one word, @gmail.com.
So what's the best way to go about making a donation?
They can, if they e-transfer, looking at the email address, using that email address.
Okay, great.
As well. Make sure that if you're doing that you include your address for me, and your full name and address, so that I can make sure you get a receipt.
Tax receipt.
Tax receipt, if you want one. And also we have a GoFundMe account, and that's available through our Facebook.
Okay.
So and again, please include your address and full name.
Basically, Facebook is where to go.
It's the fastest way until our website is up and running.
Great. Well, thank you, Nikki. That's a lot of information. I'm overwhelmed, and you're doing wonderful work. Thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
We'll be right back.